The Alaska vanishing, the mystery of Blackwater Ridge. In the vast wilderness of Alaska, there are thousands of square miles where a person can disappear without leaving a trace. Endless forests stretch beyond the horizon. Mountains hide deep valleys untouched by human activity. Entire regions remain inaccessible for much of the year. Most missing person cases eventually find an explanation. This one never did. Tonight, we're exploring the strange and unsettling story of Blackwater Ridge, a remote settlement that became the center of one of the most baffling disappearance cases of the 2010s. What happened there remains unknown, and, according to some locals, it may be better that way. The story begins in the summer of 2011. Blackwater Ridge was a tiny community located nearly 90 miles from the nearest major road. The settlement consisted of fewer than 80 residents, most of whom worked in logging, fishing, or seasonal mining operations. The town wasn't on most maps. There were no hotels, no gas stations, no tourist attractions. The people who lived there preferred it that way. Life was simple, quiet, predictable, until August 14th. That morning, local fisherman Daniel Mercer left his cabin before sunrise. His aluminium boat was found later that day, floating along the edge of Blackwater Lake. The engine was still running. His fishing equipment remained untouched. His lunch sat unopened inside a cooler. Daniel Mercer was nowhere to be found. Search teams spent 4 days combing the surrounding wilderness. Nothing. No footprints, no signs of a struggle, no clothing, no body. Eventually, authorities concluded he had likely drowned. The case was closed. But that was only the beginning. 3 weeks later, another resident disappeared. This time, it was 26-year-old Sarah Keegan. She worked as a radio operator for a nearby weather station. According to co-workers, Sarah completed her evening shift normally. At approximately 9:17 p.m., she made her final radio transmission. The message was brief. "Do you see that light?" The transmission ended abruptly. No further communication followed. When workers arrived the next morning, the station was empty. Sarah's jacket remained hanging on a chair. Her backpack sat beside the door. The coffee she had prepared was still warm. She had seemingly vanished within minutes. Authorities returned to Blackwater Ridge. Another extensive search began. Again, nothing was found. Residents started becoming nervous. People locked their doors. Children stopped playing outside after dark. Hunters traveled in groups. For the first time in memory, fear settled over the community. Then came October, and everything changed. On October 3rd, 5 hunters entered the forest north of Blackwater Ridge. Only 3 returned. The survivors were visibly shaken. One of them, a man named Thomas Hale, later provided a statement that investigators initially dismissed as shock-induced confusion. According to Hale, the group had followed a strange sound deep into the woods. He described it as a metallic humming, unlike anything he had ever heard. As darkness approached, they discovered what appeared to be a clearing that none of them remembered existing. In the center stood a tall black structure, approximately 30 feet high, perfectly smooth. No seams, no visible entrance, no markings. The hunters approached cautiously. Then, according to Hale, the humming stopped. The forest became completely silent. Birds stopped singing. Wind stopped blowing. Even the insects disappeared. Moments later, 2 members of the group walked toward the structure. Neither man responded when their friends called out. Neither acknowledged their surroundings. They simply continued forward. Then they vanished. Not behind the object, not inside it. Vanished. Gone. As if they had stepped into empty air. The remaining hunters fled. Investigators searched the area repeatedly. No clearing was ever found. No structure existed. Authorities concluded the story was fabricated, but the hunters never changed their account. Not once. Over the following year, 6 more residents disappeared. The pattern was always similar. No evidence, no witnesses, no explanation. People would simply be there one moment and gone the next. By early 2013, Blackwater Ridge had gained quiet attention from state authorities. Officially, no connection existed between the cases. Unofficially, investigators knew something was wrong. A special task force was formed. Its mission was simple: determine why people were disappearing. The team arrived in March. What they discovered only deepened the mystery. Residents reported unusual lights appearing over the surrounding mountains. Bright white spheres. Completely silent. Sometimes hovering for hours. Sometimes moving at incredible speeds. Photographs existed. Videos existed. Yet every image appeared blurry or distorted. Electronic equipment frequently malfunctioned whenever the lights appeared. GPS units lost signal. Radios produced